When it comes to Hollywood scandals, there are a plethora of circumstances where certain issues get swept under the rug, especially when it comes to underage dating. There have been plenty of times where people were accepting of the consensual relationship between parties, and then there have also been plenty of times where people were just not having it.
Stop it. Get some help.
Let's take a look back at a few of the hip-hop moguls who managed to get away with dating minors with no repercussions. The first couple I want to talk about is Tyga and Kylie Jenner. Now, this comes as no shock because these two were very public with their relationship. Back in 2015, literally on Kylie's 18th birthday, the two revealed that they were dating. Now, I want to go back and talk about this relationship because I think a lot of people fail to realize exactly how toxic and how scandalous this relationship truly was. Rumors began to swirl about the couple dating as early as fall of 2014 when Kylie was barely turning 17 years old and Tyga at the time was 24. But let's rewind it back a little bit more than that. According to Kylie, she first met Tyga back in 2011 when she was just 14 years old at her sister Kendall Jenner's 16th birthday party, where she was able to convince Tyga to perform at the birthday party. Obviously, Kylie is not a traditional 14-year-old. She comes from money, she comes from fame, she comes from luxury. So she probably has pulls and everything as a typical 14-year-old to have older men, who Tyga at the time was 21, perform at her sister's birthday party.
I was able to book a musical guest for Kendall. He is one of her favorite rappers, and I'm really nervous. I hope she likes it.
Now, I'm assuming things were harmless between the two at this point because again, Kylie was 14 at the time, Tyga was 21, and Tyga was linked to his boo Blac Chyna, to which they had a child the following year in 2012, a son named King, so they were in a relationship at the time that all of this was going on. Going on meaning the canoodling between Tyga and the Kardashian clan. Now let's fast forward to 2014. There have been various sightings of Tyga hanging out with Kylie, who at the time was only 16 years old. Tyga was 23, going on 24 at the time. Again, Kylie was just still a young lad. Blac Chyna was still in a relationship with Tyga at this time, but there were rumors starting to swirl about the two as we started to see them more and more. Tyga even went on to host a birthday party for Kylie Jenner for her 17th birthday party. He hosted a party at his house. Now, at the time, again, Kylie was just turning 17 years old, and it's crazy because you can see her at her party where Tyga is handing her alcoholic beverage to a minor. Now, it's neither here nor there for me to judge, but it is very telling because literally days later after Kylie's birthday party, Tyga and Blac Chyna called off their engagement. So it's just very telling at the time what was going on from what we were seeing in the spotlight versus what were allegedly going on behind the scenes. Now, Kylie and Tyga were spotted on several vacations in 2015, solo vacations, Kardashian family vacations. She would bring Tyga along. And at the time, again, Kylie was only 17 years old and all of this was going on. There were even rumors circulating that Tyga got a tattoo of Kylie's name at the time before she was even 18 years old. All right, now let's fast forward to August 2015, Kylie's 18th birthday party. Obviously, her man Tyga was there. That's when they first came out to the world that they're public in a relationship. He bought her a Ferrari for her 18th birthday, which is insane because what grown man buys an 18-year-old a Ferrari for her birthday? A girl that he's fucking, allegedly. So from there, the two went on to have an on-again, off-again relationship for 2 years approximately before they finally called it quits in 2017. And Kylie was even spotted with Travis Scott that same month, and we all know how that ended. Tyga eventually moved on to one of his boos where he was eventually accused of domestic violence, etc., etc. Now, what do y'all think about the situation between these two? Obviously, again, this is nothing new, but at the same time, it still doesn't take from the fact that this man was out here smashing this young girl to smithereens, allegedly. Let me know what you guys think about this situation. Now, let's get into the next couple that I want to discuss. Diddy and Misa Hylton. No, I think it's safe to say we all know who Diddy, Puff Daddy, Diddy, Love, who he is at this point. And a lot of us probably don't know who Misa Hylton is, aside from being the mother of his first son, Justin Combs. But Misa is actually one of the stylist moguls in the hip-hop community who has styled the likes of Diddy, Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, Foxy Brown, a lot of people in the New York hip-hop community. She was there in the 90s. She was there getting down, and she is very well respected in the community. Now, before she became this stylist mogul, she was a young girl from New York who was going to school for fashion, design, etc., etc., before she met Puff at the age of 15 years old. Now, allegedly, when she met Puff, she was in high school at the time. Diddy was in college going to Howard. He was back and forth between DC and New York because he was a promoter at the time, promoting parties. He was also an intern at Uptown Records, which is kind of how Misa got her kickstart, because once Puff got promoted, that's when she first started styling artists like Jodeci. That was her very first clientele that she had to kind of showcase her work, and that kind of just kickstarted her career from there. Now, fast forward, or let's go back to her and Puff's relationship. At the time Misa got pregnant, she was allegedly 19 years old, and she welcomed their son, Justin. Diddy at the time was 24 years old. So you do the math and you kind of figure out the timeline between them talking, them dating, and them having a child. It is plausible that they could have just jumped into it within a month and she got pregnant. But let's be real, a lot of people are in relationships. A lot of people are talking before they kind of get to that point.
You know, we were very young. Our lives changed just like that, really quickly.
Now, although Misa went on to be very, very successful in her career, this still does not take from the fact that Diddy was allegedly smashing this underage girl. What do you guys think about this situation regarding Diddy? It ain't the first time Papa Diddy has been known for being in part of a scandal. But let me know what you guys think. Let's get into the next couple, Russell Simmons and Kimora Lee Simmons. No, I think out of all the cases, this is probably the most scandalous one, because at the time that they allegedly met, Kimora Lee was only 17 years old and Russell at the time was 35. I say this to say I am not here to judge. This is neither here nor there for me. I'm just trying to keep that same energy for certain people who dated young girls and kind of had the book thrown at them. And there's some people who dated young girls and did not have the book thrown at them. So again, I'm just keeping that same energy. So let's get into it. Now, we know Russell because he is a hip hop mogul and definitely been in the trenches for a long time in the hip hop community. Founder of Def Jam Records, founder of Fat Farms. And shout out to Russell Simmons for that, because although he does have a few pending allegations, which we're not going to go there, we'll save that for another video, he has been a pillar in the community and has been kind of solid as far as when it comes to hip hop and when it comes to being in the community. Now, Kimora, even though we know her as being the leader of Baby Phat, having a successful family with several of her baby daddies, we know that Kimora and Russell met at the ripe young age of 17 years old. She was 17 years old at the time, and allegedly he was 35.
Part of the time, she's that real-life Cinderella who dresses up for the ball. But back home in St. Louis, Missouri, she's 10th grade student Kimora Perkins.
Now, Russell tried to do some type of damage control, and he made a statement one day, and he was like, yes, I met her. She was 18 at the time. It was Fashion Week in February, but then when people were doing the math, they were like, hey, she was 17 at the time. So he had to go back and renege on his statement, where he finally confessed and was like, okay, she was 17 at the time, but we were not dating. We were getting to know each other. By the time May came, it was her birthday. She turned 18. The rest is history, allegedly. Allegedly, he claimed, too, that her mother approved of the relationship. Now, what do you guys think in particular about this situation? Because, again, 35 is a bit steep for a 17, 18-year-old. At the end of the day, if she was grown, she's grown. But at the same time, it's kind of like, what are the odds she was really grown when y'all started doing what you do? Let me know what y'all think about this situation. Now, the last couple I want to get into is my girl Gunica, aka Monica, and her boo/bae C Murder. Now, we know these two have an extensive history that dates back into Monica's early career, again, in the 90s, where they both were very young. Relatively her, because we know when Monica first dropped her album, she was only 14, 15 years old at the time. Keep in mind, too, when she recorded the music, she was probably, like 12, 13 when she was singing Just One of Them Days, or Before You Walk Out of My Life. Now we know C Murder because he is the brother of the famous hip-hop mogul Master P. Both hail from New Orleans, Louisiana, have successful careers in rap, but unfortunately, C Murder was arrested back in 2002 on charges of an alleged robbery turned into attempted murder, turned into murder. But allegedly, him and Monica met back when she was 16 at the time, and he was allegedly 26 at the time. Monica, a lot of people say that she was very mature for her age. You know, she was writing love songs, ballads at the age of 12, 11, about heartbreak, about love, about romance, and all this stuff. And she was very smart, very mature, very advanced. Does that still take away from the fact that this grown man who was 9+ years older than her was allegedly grooming her, allegedly sought after her to be in a relationship? But even if that's true, you still see to this day, Monica is still writing for C Murder. Although they both have kind of gone their separate ways, they have managed to come back together over the 20+, 30+ year friendship relationship that they both had. Let me know what you guys kind of think about these entire situations, about these people in hip hop who have kind of gotten away with dating underage girls and had it swept under the rug. Am I saying it's right? Absolutely not. But why is it that some people get away with it and some people don't? Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. All right, y'all, we out.